The term hidden gem is often thrown around so much these days that it's really quite uncommon for me to hear someone call a game a hidden gem without thinking, hang on, that sold millions of copies when it was released. Over on my Facebook page, I quite frequently get asked to throw out suggestions for other gamers for good games on the system that they may not have played before. One of those games which I throw out there from time to time is Lode Runner, a 2.5D puzzle game. Developed by Big Bang and published by Infogrames in the West in early 1999, Lode Runner 3D, as the name suggests, is a modern take on the classic Lode Runner you may be old enough to remember if you were born around 1983. If you hang around the start menu for long enough, the storyline for the game is played out in a mix of short cutscenes and on-screen text. Essentially, all you really need to know is that the Mad Emperor Monk of Pandora has been throwing the economy into turmoil by stealing all of the gold, and the Lode Runners have been tasked with getting it back. You'll travel between different planets which are the standard fire, earth, snow and so on, and into levels which are broken down into a sequence with the aim of collecting a certain amount of gold pieces and then getting the hell out of there via the teleporter. It sounds simple, but like all good puzzle games, it's all about how it plays, and thankfully Lode Runner 3D is almost certainly up there with the best puzzle games on the console. At first glance, many of the early puzzles seem simple at first, but ultimately become devilishly tricky and can leave you scratching your head and wondering how the hell to do them. You do have your basic blaster on hand at all times, which you can use to blast away certain blocks, but it's how you use the blaster is the way that you need to master the game. When you shoot, you recoil slightly and you can only shoot diagonally down. This means that before you go gung-ho blasting every single block you can see on the screen, you'll need to actually think about what position it will leave you in. But this can also work to your advantage. You see, it's not just the various environmental obstacles you'll need to deal with. The Mad Emperor Monk has some of his minions after your blood, and so as you progress through the game they'll be chasing you around on most levels. One touch and then you're dead, but you also have the ability to trap them and kill them momentarily. At other points in the game you'll also have access to other items and weapons, but the core gameplay mechanic remains unchanged. Having the additional items to work into your game keeps the experience feeling fresh and unique, long after the initial fun factor should have worn off. It's a game that tests not just your mental power but also your reflexes too, and this can be tested at times in the wrong way. The controls to the game, whilst responsive, can often feel clunky, as you can become stuck on the levels when trying to alter your path or change direction. It's not just a huge gripe, but when you're just about to master a level it causes you to quickly get grabbed by a monk. It'll cause you some instant rage quitting moments. One thing in particular that many puzzle games seem to forget is that when it comes to music, less is often more. Some puzzle games throw out crazy tunes at you, and when you're trying to concentrate or repeat the same section again and again, it can become an annoyance. Lode Runner 3D thankfully has one heck of a soundtrack. Not only is it crystal clear and well made, it doesn't become a hindrance to your concentration, but when you do notice it, you can't help but appreciate just how well the electronic sounds fit into the sci-fi style. The same too can be said for the graphics. While looking at them it's clear that this is one of the early N64 titles, it really isn't trying to push the console hard. Each world has its own background, but the rest of the level consists of blocks and pathways. Sure, the texture quality could have done with a slight bump, but the character models and simplicity is actually one of the game's strengths. Despite getting generally positive reviews, Lode Runner 3D sold incredibly poorly. I'm not sure if it's because people felt it was more of a rental only title, or they couldn't quite figure out if it was a puzzle game or a platformer from looking at the screenshots. All I do know is that I think this is one cracker of a game, and I'm certain there's some of you watching now that have never even heard of this title. So if you're a puzzle game fan and you like what you see, then don't hesitate to pick this up. It's fairly easy to find, and because it's a puzzle game, the price is generally very favourable. It's a game which has enough of a challenge to keep you playing it long after a weekend rental would have expired, and quite honestly there's nothing really else quite like it on the console. But as always, it is over to you. I want to know if you've ever played this game before and what you made of it. Or if you've never even seen this game before, would you want to play it after what you've seen? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments section down below, and until next time.